Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. We are just about ready to get this mashup game started. This is going to kick off the 22nd season of Arizona Roller Derby right here in Mesa, Arizona. I am Loquita Bonita, joined by
Ambulance.
And we are so excited to have you here. We're going to run through our rosters. Ambulance, will you kick us off?
Gladly. So, skating for the White Rabbits, we have number 1013, Griff. Number 1410, Wonderlina. Number 26, Venus. Number 394, Punky Pie. Number 4, Sure Man. Number 4077, Crash Mash. Number 5, Sunny Ono. Number 505, Cherry Pop Her. 562, Tinker Hell. 5811 Sunspot, 66 Youngla, 710 Mo Fasta, 808 G's Louise, and 84 Jaws Break Her.
And skating in the red, representing the Queen of Hearts, 09 Vampiro, 12 Shanna Shenanigans, 187 Sour Appletini, number 20, that's D20, 25 Zcat, number 26 Lava, 27 Babe Tovin, 4590 everybody's favorite Barbie, that's Bad Habit Barbie. Number 5, Soul Eater. 54, Mecha Frankenstein. Number 56, Who's Nuts? D's Nuts. 574, Axel. 61, B. Randy. 709, Kiwi. And number 79, Laka Laka. And our skating officials today, here's the list.
We have Hate Bit, Manasar, Goldie, Flash, Justabelle, Phoenix, Miss Murder.
And rounding out our officiating team, Ms. B. Haven, Sick, Amthrax, Kit Ruff, Prickly Parish, Paul Shenanigans, Velma Deckley, Faye Wild, Sweet and Sour Candy, Mean Deneen, Jasmine, Notorious. And we are just about ready to kick it off. Reminder for those of you who maybe are new to Derby or it's been a hot minute, the game is played with 5 skaters from each team on the track. The one wearing the star, the jammer, can score the points. The other helmet cover has a stripe down the middle. They are the pivot. They are a blocker that can become the jammer if the helmet cover, the star, is passed to them. Every time the person wearing the helmet cover with the star on it passes an opponent's hips, they get a point. Up to 4 points can be earned per jam.
All right, and taking the track, it looks like we have number 84, Jaws Break Her, for the White Rabbits.
And that's 4590, Bad Habit Barbie, for the Queen of Hearts. Everybody's getting set up. Officials prepping to officiate. That whistle signifies we are about to start, so that next whistle will start the jam and begin this game. All right, jam number 1, it begins. Jaws Breaker looking for some space on the outside, gets knocked out, but the blocker also gets knocked out with her, so Jaws out and picks up lead. Barbie looking for some space to get out of that pack. Now pushing towards the front. Tinker held with some nice blocking to slow Barbie down. Randy also getting in on that as Jaws picks up 4 points for the White Rabbits. Barbie now out of the pack. So next time Barbie hits up on those blockers, that'll be a scoring pass, but Jaws is going to call it off, prevents Barbie and the Queen of Hearts from scoring any points. Meanwhile, White Rabbit's kicking it off with 8, so we have an 8-0 score after 1. Big shout out to our sponsors, 888, the certified sweat saver from 888, top of the line safety standards and unmatched fit options.
All right, and for the White Rabbits, we have Crash Mash, and then D20 for the Queen of Hearts. And Crash Mash is out as your lead jammer. Coming around, and D20 is not far behind. All right. And that is a first completed pass for Crash Mash. That is going to be 4 points on the board for the White Rabbits. Coming in for the next approach.
So another 8 points added on that jam by the White Rabbits. 4 picked up by the Queen of Hearts. Your score now 16-4 as we go in to jam number 3. Griff wearing that star for the White Rabbits. Axel for the Queen of Hearts. And that whistle has us going. All the skates moving. Pushing forward, Axel's at the top of the pack, able to bust through that 2-wall and pick up lead. Griff knocked to the outside, recycles back. Kalaka with a block there to the inside. So, however, Griff did get a cut track call. That means we have a power jam. Power jam. First power jam of the game in favor of the Queens of Hearts. Axel up on those toe stops on that inside lane, able to push through, picks up 4 points. That's 8 points so far in this jam for Axel and the Queens. Nice tripod there waiting to absorb Axel. Unable to stop her, but do slow her down, and Axel goes ahead and calls it off after 4 more points are picked up. Score now 12-16 in favor of the White Rabbits.
And the White Rabbits will be starting this jam down a jammer as Griff is still in that penalty box. We have Bad Habit Barbie with the star for the Queens of Hearts. All right. White Rabbits running a strong defense, keeping Barbie from getting out, and Griff is able to sneak back in and take lead jammer status as she makes her approach to try to grab some points. And that is going to be 4 points on the board for Griff. Bad Habit Barbie is still pushing, trying to get that initial pass. And we have a successful star pass. Z-Cat is now taken over as jammer for the Queens of Hearts. And here comes... All right. All right. And an easy pass for Griff will bring that jam to its conclusion. That was going 12 points on the board for this jam. That brings our score 28 White Rabbits, 16 Queens of Hearts.
B. Randy with the star for the first time tonight for the Queens of Hearts, and Jaws back out on the track for the White Rabbits. Jaws trying to make it up that inside lane, but Kiwi quickly sweeping in to knock Jaws out. Jaws recycles back, then goes to the inside, is now through, has picked up lead. B. Randy getting shut down there by the White Rabbits tripod. Kalaka offering some offense before skating back. Jaws, however, able to get through, picks up 4. Meanwhile, there has been a successful star pass to Kiwi. Kiwi now jammer for the Queens of Hearts. B. Randy quickly shifted to blocking and successfully knocks Jaws to the outside, and Jaws is recycled back. It looks like Punky, the pivot for the White Rabbits, going to that penalty box. Kiwi finds space on the inside lane and is through for 4. Jaws recycled back into turns 3 and 4. Then it goes to the outside, slips past those Queens blockers, and picks up 4 more points. Jaws going to the inside, looking for some space. Kiwi there on the outside, up on the toe stops, skates through, picks up 4. Jaws through for 4 more, and calls off the jam with just moments to go on that jam clock. Looks like 16 points picked up by the White Rabbits, 8 by the Queens of Hearts, score 44-28.
All right, and lining up we have Crash Mash for the White Rabbits and D20 for the Queens of Hearts. And Crash Mash is out as our lead jammer. D20 being pulled back. And Crash Match is through for a full 4 points. Crash is through on their second scoring pass. D20 is out now. And that will conclude the jam. That is 8 points for the White Rabbits.
Oh, we're having an official review being requested by the Queens of Hearts. If we get any details about that, we'll be sure to pass those on. Also want to let you know about an upcoming fundraiser we're having for Arizona Roller Derby. The arm wrestling tournament will be on March 15th at Title IX Sports Bar and Grill. The funds raised from this super fun event are going to help us upgrade our technology and our sound system. You can find out more, get your team together, and learn how to sign up on our socials. If you're not already following us, Arizona Roller Derby, you can find us everywhere. People are getting social. We get social. We're so social. All right, we are back.
We have Griff for the White Rabbits and Bad Habit Barbie for the Queens of Hearts. Both jammers are meeting some pretty heavy defense from the blockers.
Not quite sure what that official review was about, Ambulance, but Red does retain their review, so it was whatever it was in their favor.
Bad Habit Barbie is our lead jammer, is making the approach to try and score some points. And we have a successful star pass to Punky Pie. And Bad Habit Barbie calls the jam before Punky is able to score any points. That will be a full 4 for the Queens of Hearts, bringing our score to White Rabbits 52, Queens of Hearts 36.
So quick jam there after that official review. Now we're getting ready for our next jam. Jam number 8 underway. Crash Mash wearing that star for the White Rabbits. And Axel. No, that's not Axel. Who is that? That's Mecha Frankenstein, who passes it quickly to Kiwi. So we have had a star pass for the Queens of Hearts. And Crash is out for 4 points. Kiwi looking to find some space and get out of the pack, and does. So 4 points on that scoreboard for Crash and the White Rabbits as Kiwi calls it off. Looks like that was a 4-4 jam. Score now 56-40 in favor of the White Rabbits.
All right, and we will be beginning this jam with White Rabbits with 1 blocker in the box. Punky Pie is wearing the star, and Vampira wearing the star for the Queens of Hearts. And Punky Pie is our lead jammer for this jam. And she quickly finds her way through that pack to score 4 points for the White Rabbits. And that is another successful full pass for Punky Pie. We have had a successful star pass. Vampira has passed to D20, who is fighting to get clear of the pack as Punky makes her way through once again. And that is going to be Vampira heading to the penalty box. Oh, and Punky Pie is heading to the box, which makes this a power jam, and it will go the full 2 minutes. And D20 is out. I see. And D20 is making her initial scoring pass, and that will be time. That is the full jam. Able to pick up 1 point, and And it appears we are heading into an official timeout.
Our next game coming up on March 8th, right here at Broadway Rec Center, we'll have our home teams, Skate Riot Project and the Bad News Beaters, taking on a team from Tucson as well as a team from High Altitude Roller Derby. Make sure you are here on March 8th. All right, and we are back at it. That's Griff with the star for the White Rabbits, and the one, the only Babe Tobin for the Queens of Hearts. Both teams jammers looking to find some space to get out of the pack, and looks like Griff picked up a cut track call. Going to go to the penalty box. Second penalty there on Griff. That sets up a power jam. Power jam. Power jam for the Queens of Hearts, who's sitting at a 17-point deficit, could sure use this opportunity. However, those White Rabbit blockers are going to do all they can to make it very difficult for Babe to get through. Some offense rolling up there from Mecca Freakenstein, and some other queens break things up, and Babe is able to get out of the pack on that initial pass and easily finds space on that outside lane, puts 4 points on the scoreboard. Griff now back on the track, getting swallowed up there by the Queens blockers, Sour Apple Teeny, Mecca Freakenstein, and Soul Eater. Mecca Freakenstein, though, going to the penalty box, and Griff now out. Griff looking to score some points, but Babe calls it off before Griff gets that opportunity. And it looks like it's going to be 7 points scored on this jam. Yep, there it is. 7 points added to that Queens of Hearts score. They were able to hold the White Rabbits to 0.
All right, we have Crash Mash for the White Rabbits and Bad Habit Barbie for the Queens of Hearts.
Looks like we have an official timeout. Officials just double checking things, I believe. So probably be back at the action momentarily.
All right, we are getting back to the action. And we are off. Both jammers are fighting against those blockers who are putting up quite the resistance. And Crash Mash able to push through to gain lead jammer status, making her way around now. Oh. And we see White Rabbit player number 4, Sherman, heading to the penalty box as Crash Mash makes her first scoring pass. Bad Habit Barbie is still fighting through that pack. Ooh, and a big knock out of bounds to Crash Mash, who is now being recycled back to the back of the pack. And easily finds space along that inside track. And we have a successful start pass, and Crash Mash will go ahead and shut that down now. That will be 8 points for the White Rabbits, holding the Queens of Hearts 2-0.
Shout out to our sponsor, 888, leading the pack with cutting-edge technology and the best fit options for Derby. 888 helmets. Z-Cat with the star for the Queens of Hearts. Griff for the White Rabbits. Both teams jammers looking to find some space to get out, and the first to strike is Griff. So lead going to the team in the white jerseys. Griff skating up into the pack as a successful star pass is completed by the Queens. Vamp jamming now for the Queens of Hearts, as Griff busts through and picks up 4 points. Vamp passing a couple before getting knocked out by Wonderlina. Well, it looks like no, all 4 points were picked up there by Vamp and the White Rabbits. So a 4-4 jam here in the first half. We got about 11 minutes left before halftime.
We see Sherman wearing the star for the first time this game for the White Rabbits, and Axel for the Queens of Hearts. A slow start to this jam. And Sherman finds their way through to become lead jammer. Axel not far behind, out now as well. And Sherman calls it before Axel is able to score any points, holding the Queens of Hearts 2-0 while scoring 3 for the White Rabbits. And that will bring us to a total score of 83 for the White Rabbits and 52 for the Queens of Hearts.
Z-Cat with the star for the Queens. Griff for the White Rabbits. Whistle means we are at the action. Jam has begun. Both teams jammers looking to find some space while the blockers set up right on that pivot line, making it, or jammer line to start, but now everybody at the pivot line. Punky Pie there with, I think that's Jeez Louise and a skater to be named later. Able to slow down Z-Cat, who is now out and does have lead, and in the time it took me to say that is back and ready to score some points. Z-Cat through for 4. There has been a successful star pass there for the White Rabbits. So now jamming for the White Rabbits is Hungla. And Z-Cat through. Very nicely done. Hungla now out of the pack. Oh. A little bit of a kneecap pop off there at the end of the jam, but whistle blown. So all good as we get ready now for jam number 15.
And we have Bad Habit Barbie wearing the star for the Queens of Hearts and Crash Mash for the White Rabbits. The White Rabbits are starting with 2 blockers in the penalty box, where our Queen of Hearts have a full pack on the track. Those White Rabbit blockers are still making Bad Habit Barbie fight for that lead position, which she secures. Crash Mash still fighting the back of the pack. Bad Habit Barbie on her first scoring pass. Ooh. And a big knockout to Crash Mash from, I believe, D's Nuts. And Bad Habit Barbie is being sent to the box, making this a power jam, and we will go for that full 2 minutes. Crash Mash is still fighting for that initial pass. And we have a successful star pass to Sunny Ono. Recycled back. And Sunny is out with the star, just as Bad Habit Barbie re-enters the track. Got a little jammer on jammer action as we approach the pack. Both jammers meeting heavy resistance from the blockers. And that is the jam. Looks like Bad News Barbie was able to secure a full 4 more for that. And Sunny Ono, 3 points for the White Rabbits.
That was the first jammer penalty against the Queens of Hearts and the first full 2-minute jam, not by choice. So we are now getting ready for jam number 16. Oh, sweet 16. Griff with the star for the White Rabbits. Soul Eater for the Queens of Hearts. Soul Eater pushing forward at the top of the back, getting slowed up by Tinker Hell and Wonder Lena. And another blocker. I think Sunspot. And out first is Soul Eater. There has been a star pass to Punky Pie. Punky now jamming for the White Rabbits. Soul Eater picks up 4, calls it off before Punky hits the pack. So holding the White Rabbits to 0 points on that jam, increasing their score to 72, just 14 points, now separating these 2 teams with about 4.5 minutes to go in the first period.
We have Crash Mash wearing the star for the White Rabbits and Zombie Cat for the Queens of Hearts. White Rabbits do still have 1 blocker in the box, so they will be starting short. Oh, and a little bit of a jammer race there, but it does appear that Z-Cat did take the lead jammer status with Crash Mash right on their heels and decides to call it and not risk any points for those White Rabbits.
And lining up for jam number 18, Jaws wearing the star for the White Rabbits. And for the Queens of Hearts, that is number 56. Who's nuts? D's nuts. Yay! And Jaws out first does pick up lead. D's, man. D's taking her nuts to the penalty box as we have a power jam. Power jam. Power jam for the White Rabbits. White Rabbits blockers lining up. Kiwi and Vamp there at the back of the pack trying to slow down Jaws, but Jaws high stepping it through, picks up 4 points and continues to make her way around the track. White Rabbits set up there for some offense as Jaws gets knocked to the inside. D's able to exit the penalty box and skate easily through on that inside lane. Forces that call off, so no points picked up by the Queens of Hearts. And 11 on that jam going to the White Rabbits.
All right. Heading into this jam, we have Zombie Cat wearing the star for the Queens of Hearts and Griff for the White Rabbits. Penalty box is clear, so both teams will be starting with a full pack of blockers. Some blocker pile-ups. But Griff is able to fight her way through and secure lead jammer status. However, Zombie Cat is right on her tail. And decides to call it, making this a very quick jam.
And we have a timeout, an official timeout occurring. This official timeout brought to you by Cactus Cup, everybody's favorite tournament, Cactus Cup. It will be held April 18th through 20th at the Arizona Athletic Grounds. It's a WFTDA sanctioned tournament. There will be teams representing 8 leagues. You can find out more on our socials and on our website, ArizonaRollerDerby.com. We really hope to see you there. And hey, we're looking for sponsors. Support your local roller derby and become a sponsor. Get your name shouted out all the time, like one of our newest sponsors, M.A. Munson Law. You can expect zealous and effective advocacy on your behalf at M.A. Munson Law. Our mission is to provide exceptional legal representation in the areas of adoption, estate planning, corporate law, and criminal defense. And with that, we are back at it. All right, that whistle means jam on it. That's Axel with the star for the Queens of Hearts. Crash Mash for the White Rabbits. B. Randy knocking Crash Mash out. Crash back on the track, but not before Axel's able to get out first and pick up a lead. Pack moving into the second straightaway. Axel slightly ahead of Crash. Axel going to try to pick up a point. But doesn't. However, Crash Mash able to grab one before the call-off. So a very quick 1-0 jam in favor of the White Rabbits.
All right, we have Bad Habit Barbie wearing the star for the Queens of Hearts and Griff for the White Rabbits. And Griff right away securing lead jammer status. Bad Habit Barbie finding her way through the pack as well, about half a track behind Griff. As Griff approaches the pack to attempt to score some points, is pushed out of bounds by Vamp and recycled to the back. And Griff ends the jam. holding the Queens of Hearts 2-0. Oh, no, 2-1, was able to sneak 1 point out.
And it looks like it might be halftime, maybe not. Waiting to see what the officials tell us. In the meantime, remember we do have a food truck here today. There it is. A beautiful whistle from the one and only Kit Ruff, letting us know that it is halftime. So take a quick break. We got just under 15 minutes until we get right back at the action. I think the food truck is probably here, so head on out to the jerk spot and get something delicious, and we will see you back here shortly.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music license. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music license. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music license. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined. Artlist.io.
Just under 1 minute to go, and we will get right back out that live derby action. Thanks again for being here with us. Make sure you stick around for our next game, our home team's debut here in season 22 at Arizona Roller Derby. The Bad News Beaters taking on Skate Riot Project. Hang around for that one. All right, next whistle starts the half. And there it goes. We are at it. Crash Mash with the star for the White Rabbit. Z-Cat for the Queens of Hearts. Everybody just hanging out, having a party here in the first straightaway. Z-Cat, though, finds a tiny bit of space on that inside lane, is out as lead. Z-Cat rolling right back up, looking to pick up some points. Crash Mash has been shut down there by the Queens of Hearts blockers. That's B. Randy, Vamp, Mecha, Freakenstein. Z-Cat has 4 on the board, looking to pick up some more, pushing through the White Rabbits blockers. Does get 4 more. Successful star pass. Punky now jamming for the White Rabbits as Z-Cat calls it off. Z-Cat picking up points on that jam. 8 looks like, and holds the White Rabbits to 0.
We have Griff wearing the star for the White Rabbits and Axel for the Queens of Hearts. And we are off. Axel pushing and secures lead jammer status. Griff right behind her. Axel receiving word from the bench to continue and try and get some points. And Axel calls it just as Griff approaches the pack, securing 3 points and holding the White Rabbits to 0.
Shout out to one of our sponsors, 187 Killer Pads, often imitated, never duplicated. Stick with the best 187 Killer Pads. 187, a sponsor of Arizona Roller Derby travel team, keeping our skaters safe. Bad Habit Barbie with the star for the Queens, Wonderlandina. I made that up myself, right? Wonderlina with the star for the White Rabbits. First time we've seen Wonderlina with the star this game. Barbie caught up in a 2-wall, able to bust that seam, push forward, but then stopped by Punky Pie. Looked like Barbie had been knocked to the outside and recycles back. Just a little short recycle, though. Everybody right back in it. And Wonderlina able to scoochy-dooch by on that outside lane and pick up lead. Barbie still battling, looking for some offensive assistance as Wonderlina gets back to the pack and everybody has to switch back to defense. Jam is called off. 4 points picked up by Wonderlina on that jam.
We have Sunny Ono wearing the star for the White Rabbits and Zombie Cat for the Queens of Hearts. And we are off. Sherman draws Zombie Cat to the back right away as Sunny Ono is our lead jammer approaching the pack as we have a completed star pass to Vampira, who is quickly knocked out of bounds and brought back, being held by Sunspot and Shoreman. Sunny pushing to complete that first points pass, and she does. That is going to be 4 points on the board for the White Rabbits. Vampira being recycled once again by Sherman. And Sunny calls it on that second scoring pass. for a total of 6 points for the White Rabbits.
Just about ready for jam number 5 here in the second half. Shout out to everyone watching in the Twitch. Hola a todos que están viendo ahí en el canal de Twitch. Bienvenidos siempre a nuestros juegos. We have a timeout. Official timeout. That's a timeout of the official variety. A little bit excited. Here we go. The next whistle will start the jam. All right, Mofasta with the star for the White Rabbits, and Kiwi for the Queens of Hearts. Everybody up there in turns 1 and 2. Kiwi through, went from the inside, slalom to the outside, and picks up 4. And Mo in the penalty box, so that means we have a power jam. Power jam. Looks like that was a back block. So power jam opportunity here for the Queens of Hearts. Queens trailing the White Rabbits. And Mo back out on the track, has made that initial pass, gonna skate around and look to score some points. However, Kiwi calls it off after picking up 4 more. So a big 12-point jam for Kiwi. That ties the highest scoring jam for the Queens of Hearts. We've seen 3 other 12-point jams so far in this game, and we did have a 16-point jam by Jaws in the first half for the White Rabbits.
Punky Pie wearing the star for the White Rabbits, and Zombie Cat for the Queens of Hearts. White Rabbits do have 1 blocker in the box, so they are short. However, those remaining White Rabbit blockers are putting up quite the defense. Both jammers still fighting. And Zombie Cat secures lead jammer position. Punky also out and hot on her tails. Zombie Cat approaching the pack and immediately calls it, holding the White Rabbits 2-0 for this jam. And that will be a timeout for the White Rabbits.
All right, we are back at it. That official review was by the White Rabbits asking for a penalty against the Queens of Hearts jammer, and the officials agreed. So the jammer, that's Z-Cat, sitting in the penalty box. So a power jam for the White Rabbits, and Griff, who is able to pick up 4 points to start the jam. And oh, big hit there from Sherman, sending Z-Cat to the inside upon their return from the penalty box.
Heading into this next jam, we have Crash Mash wearing the star for the White Rabbits and Soul Eater for the Queens of Hearts. Crash Mash pushing forward while Soul Eater meeting heavy resistance in the back. And Kiwi forcing Crash Mash back to the back. And Kiwi will head to the box for that move. Crash Mash making another attempt at the front of the pack and succeeds, and is now our lead jammer. Queens of Hearts currently have 2 players sitting in the penalty box. Crash Mash comes through on their first scoring pass for a full 4 points. Soul Eater still fighting. Those blockers being held securely by Sunspot and Mofasta. And is now being recycled back to that, just as Crash Mash calls it.
Both teams setting up for jam number 9, empty penalty box. That's 80 wheels on the floor. 5 seconds called, and then the whistle. Immediately D20 passes the helmet cover to Bad Habit Barbie. Wonderlina wearing that star for the White Rabbits. Bad Habit Barbie now out of the pack, gonna put that pressure on Wonderlina and the White Rabbits. Wonderlina, 2 to beat, flips those hips around and calls it off, able to pick up all 4 points before the call off. However, Barbie able to add 2 to the Queen's score. That score now 98 to 120 in favor of the White Rabbits.
We have Hungla wearing the star for the White Rabbits and Zombie Cat for the Queens of Hearts. This is Hungla's first time wearing the star and gets lead jammer. Oh, but Zombie Cat is right on her heels. We've got a bit of a jammer race happening here. And Hungla goes ahead and calls it before Zombie Cat is able to claim any points for the Queens of Hearts. But she was able to sneak 1 point. That is going to bring our score to White Rabbits 120 and Queens of Hearts 99.
99. So close to that century mark. Hola Shiva, que está ahí en el Twitch. Ella dice, dale Jungla. And we are at it in jam number 11. Punky Pie wearing that star for the White Rabbits. And for the Queens of Hearts, that's Mecca Freakenstein. Mecca calls it off. Punky putting that pressure on. So we have a 0-0 jam.
Lining up, we have D20 wearing the star for the Queens of Hearts and Griff for the White Rabbits. Empty penalty boxes, so both teams will be starting with all 4 blockers on the track. Both jammers meeting heavy resistance as we head into turn 1. And Wonderlina heading to the penalty box, looks like for a track cut, and D20 is our lead jammer. We have a successful star pass to Sherman, taking over as jammer for the White Rabbits. D20 is approaching the pack. And calls it, holding Sherman to 0 points for the White Rabbits. And Secort 3 points for the Queens of Hearts.
Jam number 13 about to kick off. Bad Habit Barbie with the star for the Queens. Mofasta for the Rabbits. Los conejos contra las renas. Se va, se va, se va. Mofasta recycled as Bad Habit Barbie busts out of the pack and picks up lead. Mo looking to find some space out, but bumped to the outside by Dees. Dees and Shanna Shenanigans team up for some blocking there. And Mo now out of the pack. Four points going up for Barbie and the Queens as the jam is called off. Score 106 to 120 in favor of the White Rabbits. Just under 14 minutes left to go here in the second period.
We have Zombie Cat lining up as jammer for the Queens of Hearts and Crash Mash for the White Rabbits. Both jammers still fighting for that lead jammer position, both meeting heavy resistance from very strong blocker walls. Crash Mash is now our lead jammer. We have a successful star pass to Kiwi. Crash Mash makes that first scoring pass for a full 4 as Kiwi approaches the pack and chooses to call the jam before Kiwi is able to score.
Jam number 15 up next. Both our jammers jamming for the first time this game. That's Geez Louise for the White Rabbits and Vampira for the Queens of Hearts. Vamp out first, has picked up lead. Geez Louise with a successful star pass to Punky Pie. Punk going from the outside to the inside and is successfully out of the pack. So gonna put that pressure on. Vamp decides to call it off. So 4 points going to the Queens of Hearts as they successfully hold the White Rabbits to 0 in jam number 15.
And we have a timeout going to the White Rabbits.
Be sure to learn more and sign up for our second annual arm wrestling tournament going to be held March 15th at Title IX Sports Bar and Grill. All the funds raised are going to help support Arizona Roller Derby as we grow our technology. Woot woot! Bringing you even better sound, even better streaming, even better derby right here from Mesa, Arizona.
All right, getting back into the action, we have Sunny Ono wearing the star for the White Rabbits and Axel for the Queens of Hearts. Both jammers fighting through. And Axel is able to fight through and become our lead jammer. Sunny Ono is now also out, a little less than half a track behind Axel as Axel approaches the pack for their first scoring pass. And calls off the jam. Scoring all 4 points. Is Sunny able to sneak 2 in on that before the end of the 4th whistle?
The Queens creeping up on the White Rabbits, just 11 points now separating these two teams. They once had a deficit as wide as 30 points. Bad Habit Barbie wearing the star for the Red Queens, Griff for the White Rabbits. One of the Queens of Hearts sitting in the penalty box. As Griff is out and picks up lead. Bad Habit Barbie looking to find a way around Sherman, who's making it very difficult. Vamp getting in there to offer some offense and break things up. Griff through as a star pass has been completed by the Queens of Hearts. Kiwi now jamming for the Queens. And Kiwi approaches the pack almost to the points when Griff calls it off. So 4-point jam in favor of the White Rabbits. Score 130 to 115 with 9 minutes left in the game.
Heading into Jam 18, we have Punky Pie wearing the star for the White Rabbits and D20 for the Queens of Hearts. And D20 is out after a aggressive offense from their blockers. Punky Pie still fighting the pack as D20 approaches on their scoring pass. Punky Pie now out. And D20 goes ahead and calls that jam as Punky makes her approach, holding the White Rabbits to 0 and scoring 3 points for the Queens of Hearts. We are slowly closing that points gap, bringing our score to White Rabbits 130, Queens of Hearts 118.
Axel for the Queens and Crash for the Rabbits. Going to see what they can do about that score as Axel busts through on that inside lane with a high step and is out. Crash also out though, so going to put that pressure on. Some excellent blocking there by the White Rabbits, and oh, a penalty picked up by Axel. That means it's a power jam. Power jam. Power jam for the White Rabbits. So 4 points picked up so far while Axel's cooling her wheels in the penalty box. Crash looking to find some space, but space being swallowed up by the Queens blockers. That's D's Nuts, B Randy, joined by Soul Eater and Shanna Shenanigans. And we have an official timeout.
I guess Cupid Shuffle was a good choice. Just under 6.5 minutes remaining in this half. We have Wonderlina as the jammer for the White Rabbits and Kiwi for the Queens of Hearts. Kiwi quickly pushed out of bounds, recycled back. Both jammers still fighting for that lead position, and Kiwi secures it. Wonderlina also out, but Kiwi is going to go ahead and call that jam, holding both teams to a 0-0 jam.
But it's fine on the penalty box was okay. Here we go. 5 seconds. And we are at it again. Mofasta for the White Rabbits. Living up to that name and getting lead status. Z-Cat wearing the star for the Queens of Hearts. Mofasta bumping right on into Shanna Shenanigans. Everybody getting slowed down, hung up there in turn number 1. Empty penalty box as Mo is through for 4. Star pass, that's Babe Tovin now jamming for the Queens of Hearts. And jam is called off. 0 points picked up on that last pass there by Mo. So 4-point jam in favor of the White Rabbits. Score 142 to 122 with just over 4 minutes left to go in the game.
Grip wearing the star for the White Rabbits. Bad Habit Barbie for the Queens of Hearts. We have empty penalty box, so we will be starting with all players on the track, and we are heading into an official timeout. And as that timeout comes to the close, Sherman has been sent to the penalty box. And Bad News Barbie secures lead jam position as we exit turn 1. Griff knocked out of bounds and recycled to the back of the pack as Bad Habit Barbie makes her way on her scoring pass and is through for 4 points. Grip is still on that initial pass as Bad Habit Barbie approaches on the second scoring pass, is knocked out of bounds and needs to recycle back. We have a successful star pass to Wonderlina, who is now taken over as jammer for the White Rabbits. And Bad Habit Barbie, go ahead and calls that jam.
Right? Just under 3 minutes to go, lining up for jam number 23 here in the second period. Punky Pie with the star for the White Rabbits. B. Randy for the Queens of Hearts. That whistle gets the action going. B. Randy going to the outside, back to the end as Punky Pie busting through at the top of the pack, chased down by Vampira, but not quick enough as Punk is out and has lead. B. Randy also out of the pack, putting on that pressure, skating up very quickly into the turns. Pack in the second straightaway as Punky skates through, picks up 3 before calling it off, preventing B. Randy and the Queens from scoring any points. Getting ready now for jam number 24. We have less than 2 minutes.
And we have Sherman wearing the star for the White Rabbits and Zombie Cat for the Queens of Hearts. And Zombie Cat scores the lead jam position. Sherman is the jammer and calls it. And that is going to take us into an official review.
So I noticed that Sherman had lost that helmet cover before hitting the pack. So no points picked up and perhaps a little controversy.
No points, and unfortunately unable to secure lead jammer position without having that helmet cover on.
Make sure you're picking up your 50/50 raffle tickets. I see KT out there selling those. Those go to support our juniors program. We're going to see, we've already seen 2 of our former juniors skating tonight, and they are going to make their home team debuts in the next game starting at 7 p.m. One on the Skate Riot Project and other on the Bad News Beaters. Stick around for that game. Next whistle will start the jam. A little over a minute left in the game. Jungla wearing the star for the White Rabbits. Bad Habit Barbie for the Queens of Hearts. Jungla getting knocked to the inside, recycled back. Also, oh no, not recycled. A cut track call on Jungla. That means we have a power jam. Power jam in favor of the Queens of Hearts. Queens down a little more than 20 points. No, that's bad math. A little less than 20 points. So it's still anybody's game. What can happen here? In the final waning moments of this mashup, in celebration of Alice and Wonderland, the Queens of Hearts and the White Rabbits battling it out. Jungla back on the track and quickly through the pack. So now on a scoring pass as Barbie calls it off, picks up 4 points, and we are going to wait just a moment till we get that final score confirmation from our officials, but as it stands, 145 to 133 in favor of the White Rabbits. Great game all the way through, keeping it close, battling it out. And there it is. That is your official score. Everybody give it up for both of these teams. The Queens of Hearts and the White Rabbits. Hey, next game, our halftime game during game 2 will be the rubber duck toss. Rubber duck toss, you know, take a rubber duck, toss it in a bucket. It's going to be fun, 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 fun. If you are interested in participating in our halftime game, be sure to check in here with Ambulance right here to my left. Ambulance slightly injured, recovering from that injury, so you might see her hobbling. Her word, not mine. I'm just repeating what she
My
said.
word, hobbling. Yes,
So
if you would
Spotter.
like a chance to win tickets to another game of your choice, please be sure to come see me here at the announcers table to participate in our halftime game.
And come on down and do the hand thing with our skaters as they come around. Make sure you go out and get some food from the jerk spot. Check out the merch table and get those 50/50 raffle tickets. Game number 2 starting at 7 o'clock. Is it going to start on time? So we will see you back here then. Shout out to our friends in the Twitch. Si todos en el Twitch se quedan para el próximo, vamos a tener otro juego que empieza a las 7 entre los 2 equipos de Arizona, Bad News Beaters y Skate Riot Project. Nos vemos en la próxima.